morning, Art Institute students, and thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate your valiant and effort to be coming in with us today. Today we have a special guest, and I'll be your host, Lauren Douglas, but we are honored to have Vincent Powell from American Idol here with us today to tell us a little bit about what it was like to be a part of that show and what he's doing now. So Vincent, thank you. Thank you for coming in today and sharing with us in this time. Just tell us a little bit about how did you find out about your gift, and then what did you do with it first?
I started when I was young. Thank you for having me on the show. But I started out when I was young. My mother and my brother are musicians, and so growing up in a musical family and growing up with that background, it kind of helped. I started singing when I was in middle school, as far as like leading songs and different things like that, and just progressed that throughout my education.
Okay, so when did you say, you know what, American Idol is what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna really go for it.
Well, I started auditioning for American Idol like years ago. So I actually auditioned like 6 times over a period of time before I actually made it on the show.
Wow, really?
So yeah, it was a popular thing. I think every musician or everybody that wants to excel in their career as far as being a musician should try to take the higher steps. And I think American Idol opens a lot of doors for different artists and stuff.
Now, you've been singing for quite a long time, so how many years is that in total?
I think professionally since '01. So
wow.
Because that's when I started going to school. I have a degree in music, so I studied musical theater and jazz, and I just wanted to take it a little bit more serious.
Now, what are some good times and maybe not so good times that you can remember from American Idol?
Everything is going 100 miles per hour, so what you do is it's hard to kind of like try to learn things on American Idol. You kind of already have to know or have a good idea what's going on. So it's kind of like you have your the things that you do. You like, man, you coulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, basically. So I don't know. It's an emotional roller coaster. So some of the bad things or whatever, I don't think you could ever be too prepared. You can prepare as much as possible as far as studying the show, but you just have to learn how to execute under pressure. And I think that's one of the things I learned after the fact. But yeah.
Okay, so being on the show means that you meet these judges who are industry moguls, big stars. So how did you deal with the pressure and maybe even the anxiety of being in front of them and singing?
Well, I've sung background for a lot of big name people, so I wasn't really nervous. I was just trying to make sure that I hit it. I was able to sing and knew my words, and I came off professionally. The first year was Jennifer Lopez and Steven Tyler. And Randy, of course, but that was a little bit more different because I don't think they were able to relate to me as far as my genre of soul or R&B or whatever. The second year was a little bit more easier because we had Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey and Keith Urban. I think they were able to relate to me a little bit better. So, yeah. And I've always wanted to meet Mariah Carey. That was like my childhood girlfriend. So, I thought it was very interesting. A dream come true.
Now, speaking of those specific artists, let's just talk about the different things that they were saying. Like Mariah Carey said, you sing like an angel. J-Lo said you have a voice from God. Like, how do you feel about these types of remarks about your voice?
I mean, those are compliments. I just want to prove them right at the time, So I think I'm still proving myself. So thank God for that.
I especially like Nicki Minaj's comment. It's clear that you can sing, and I can only imagine what you can do on a gospel record. So is gospel your kind of main genre, or you jump around a lot?
I don't want to use the word jump around, but gospel and Christian music is like my foundation. That's what I was raised on, and of course I'm a Christian, so I have to have that as a foundation whatever I do. So anything that I do, if I sing soul music, R&B, opera, musical theater, everything has to line up with that. So this is the foundation.
Oh, wow. Opera even. That's great.
Yeah.
So I know your Christian background. I know you're a minister of music at Fallbrook Church. How has that been for you?
I've been there for 6.5 years. I think it actually trained me vocally to be able to sing and be able to perform and just be more of a example and actually mean what I sing, if that makes sense. Whatever I sing, I actually mean it and actually fulfill the purpose of why I sing. So it kind of molded me into my identity.
So I'm also aware that music is not your only talent that you have. Let's talk about some of the other things you're into, like the fashion industry. Let's talk about that.
Okay, I started a show called Dress Houston 8 years ago, and I had a couple of friends in college that were designers, and so I was like, they were like, we don't know what to do. I was like, man, this is really good. Let's start our own show or whatever. I can incorporate music, art, and y'all can showcase your line or whatever, or a couple of pieces that you have, but you have to, get a whole collection or whatever. So that started out, they dropped out of the show, but I had a big response of other people that were trying to pursue the same fashion thing or whatever. So the show has been going on for 8 years. So what we do is introduce up and coming designers, and we kind of take it a little bit, a couple of steps further, and we introduce singers, artists, and anything under the fine arts realm. So over 3 years, we kind of expanded to Texas. So we're in San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, and Houston. And then next year, we'll be in totally 10 cities.
Oh, wow.
So just kind of getting the word out. I think I want to give back to the community as far as helping other people that are trying to get to another level in their career as far as in the fine arts. So anything that I can do to help that, I'm down for it.
And speaking of giving back, I recall a time where you reached out to Art Institute Houston students to help make your music video. Tell us about that experience.
Well, actually, they reached out to me, but I fulfilled the thing. I had a lady, I think she worked at, she was one of the designers for one of the fashion shows. I think her brother attended here, and they were doing a project, and so I was like, for sure, I'll help them out. So I mean, it kind of coincided because I had a new single, and they was like, we want to do a video. I was like, look at God. I was like, well, yeah. So it worked out.
So how do you manage Dress Houston and your music?
I use it as a promotional thing or whatever. It kind of, because I'm in church, I sing, at Fallbrook. It's a pretty big church and it's kind of demanding. I use the fashion industry or the fashion world as a promotional thing because I'm in front of a different audience. It's not a club scene, it's fashion people. So they like music, but that's just not the people that I sing on a regular basis. So I use that as a promotional tool to kind of hit me in. Push me into another market, if that makes sense. So, of course, I have to have a team. So I develop teams in each one of those cities that I know or that's booked me for previous performances and stuff. Some of the fan base that I've established through American Idol. So I use those teams to kind of help build. So they kind of take away some of the pressure.
So if you were to speak to someone right now who's trying to be a singer and wants to step out into the spotlight, what advice would you have for them?
To practice, go to school if you can, and get your feet wet. I mean, go to karaoke, do whatever you can do to kind of start performing in front of people to develop your identity within your voice. I teach voice at TSU and Fallbrook on Monday and Tuesdays. There's some of the students that kind of hit me up online on social media. They want to be the next pop star, or the next Beyonce or whatever. And so I tell them, you got to start singing on a regular basis. It's not something that you just kind of do on Monday or Tuesday or whatever. It has to be a lifestyle. So you have to understand music, the foundation, where it came from. If you want to sing R&B, you need to know who's popping in R&B right now because that's your competition. So it's branding, developing your craft, and making sure that you're, able to do what you need to do so that you can be successful. That's if you want to be successful.
And in the same capacity, your fashion, and we have fashion students here, and what would you tell them if they'd like to step out and try to do something different, like start a show as well?
It's branding. In fashion, it's a little bit different because I think it probably anything in fine arts is about who you know, but it's kind of being knowledgeable of what's going on in your surroundings. Same thing. Go to other fashion shows, kind of see what's going on. And there's so many different levels. You have your top notch, your high fashion, your big stores with the big budgets, and then you have your middle and then your low. So you just got to be familiar with what's going on. Know what's if you want to go into that field, know what you're getting into. Know the foundation, where it started, etc.
Okay, and then What would you have to say to someone who wants to just sing in church and is afraid to step out and sing in front of someone just because they're afraid?
Just do it. I mean, you'll never know what you're capable of doing if you're scared. So you have to be able to beat that fear. You just have to step out on faith and just do it. Like Nike. I'm sorry.
So now I know you said some things about networking. So what kind of networking tips do you have?
Social media is very important. I got in trouble actually on American Idol. Before each show, after the show, you know, we were supposed to like leave comments and post things or whatever. And I was very familiar with Facebook, but 2 years ago, of course, social media is different now, but and it's kind of progressing. It's like, oh my God, there's so many different things. But 2013, I was familiar with Facebook, but you know, I had Instagram and I had a Twitter, but I wasn't really, you know, I kind of post every once in a while. But Facebook, I was like, I got this, you know. And we had to create new accounts and like have a different page for it or whatever. So I got in trouble because I wasn't posting on Twitter and Instagram. So it's very important. Those are free access, you know, to be able to get out there or whatever. And so network is very important.
Now, before we have to go, let's talk a little bit about your new music coming out. Can you give us a sneak peek or a hint of what we have to expect?
I don't know it, and then I'm gonna save it for that. I want you to be surprised. I'm just playing. No, I have actually a secular CD project EP coming out at the beginning of the year, which is a little bit different. Of course, you know, I've been performing soul music from the people that booked me from Idol, but I've been, you know, in the Christian realm. So I'm eager to kind of put out this new secular music or whatever, which, you know, that's what people identify, but it's actually starting in the Europe industry first. But yeah, so I have some secular music coming out, love songs, different things or whatever that everybody will be able to relate to, but of course with a good foundation.
Right.
So I hope you'll be able to enjoy that. Be on the lookout for that. VincentPowell.net. No,
So we can expect some R&B, some sultry from you.
definitely.
Do you have anything Christmas that we'll be able to hear on
Yes.
iTunes and everything like that?
I have a Christmas CD coming out. Well, I had a Christmas CD and I'm updating it, so it should be out maybe the Monday after Thanksgiving. And you can find out everything on VincentPowell.net.
Okay, well, thank you. And anytime you like to step into Art Institute and speak with our students to come tell us about what you're doing and how we can help, we'd love that. Well,
I would love that.
So thank you, Art Institute, for tuning in with us. We've had a great time. Thank you, Vincent. We hope you come back, and we'll see you guys soon, okay? Stay good.